Hey, what's up? I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Saturday. Hope you are doing well. Siren, thank you so much for throwing those links in there. I pinned those up at the top. Definitely appreciate you, my mod. I do appreciate all your efforts. Neil Hahn, good morning. Scotty Aquati, good morning. Freaking awesome. Thanks for sharing everything out. Appreciate you guys being here. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Paula. How are you?
Good morning. I am well. Thank you.
Outstanding. You guys keep Eric in your thoughts. He's a little bit under the weather. Came up, talked with us for a little bit, and then he bowed out. He's got a little bit of a hack and stuff going on. So keep him in your thoughts. Hope you guys are doing well.
He's got a
So,
hairball.
hairball. So you kind of distracted me. Now I'm freaking
I'm
thinking of
sorry.
hairball. It's like, that's just gross. Oh, that's like talking about the thing that you came into when we were talking.
Right. I
Pimple
know.
popping. Hoi, 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 hoi. Oh,
I'm a pimple popper.
yeah, no, I can't do it. I don't know how people can watch that stuff. It's horrid. Good morning, Rockzilla. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for popping in. Hope you're doing well. So, you probably have seen the thumbnail and wondered why in the world would we be talking about Steve Wozniak. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that here in just a few moments. We're going to talk about what he did, how he's done it, how he's able to do it, the true story behind it. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some things that are affected by this and how you can protect yourself. So we have a good program today. Stay tuned for the whole thing because if you miss a piece of it, some of it may not fit for you. So make sure you're sticking around. Good morning, Azure. Hope you're doing well. Azure's at the gym working his chest. So I might not respond
Hubba hubba.
immediately. Yeah, there you go. Silverman, what's going on? Good to see
I
you.
know.
Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Azure, pictures or it didn't happen.
Hey, you told us that you don't like pictures.
Well, there I do make exceptions.
A little bit of a clarification there. What kind of
Sorry
pictures are
about
you
that.
referring to?
I digress.
Did I get your email? Maybe.
Or you must be reading from the
The other
corporate
one,
chat.
yeah. I'm following
Okay.
both chats right now.
Okay.
Azure, maybe. I'll have to double check. Um, I've gotten quite a few lately about a couple different topics. So I will say yes, but I'm not quite sure. Did you send it recently or has it been a little while? Hey, what's going on, Check? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Good morning, Chuck Stacker. Good morning, everybody. Roxilla, Silverman, freaking awesome, Scotty,
Yesterday,
Siren.
I'll have to check and see. I may not have read it. I haven't really looked at a whole lot of emails, so I'll have to check and see if I've looked at that. I don't see anything. Oh, actually, I do. Yeah. Um, I did get it. Okay, I didn't look at it. I hadn't opened it yet, but I got that. I'll make sure I look at that. What's going on, UFOs? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here this morning. Yeah, so let's look at that. Matter of fact, before we get into today's topic, did you guys know that they discovered a huge vein of gold in one of our favorite places? Can you guess where that is, Paula?
One of our favorite places,
Yeah,
Uranus.
Hong Kong. A little bit of satire, sarcasm there. Um, when I say favorite places, yes, as you heard this, saw the message as Hunan Province, China.
Oh,
It's
oh,
supposed to be.
you were being
I was being
sarcastic.
extremely sarcastic. Yes, it's supposed to be the largest vein found in a long time. They're still having difficulty estimating exactly how much gold is there. Um, I, I have a problem believing they just found it. I think probably somebody found out about it and it got out, so they released the notification. But it's supposed to be a game changer with the amount of gold that China has. So be watching because there's going to be some information on that, I'm sure, in the next few days. And I'm sure some of the big stacking channels will be talking about it. But yeah, very interesting development. So you guys want to be on top of that if you guys are stackers and you collect gold. FYI. Okay. let's get into this Wozniak thing. Paul, are you ready?
I am. I'm always ready.
All right. So I'm going to ask a question to chat, and it's just yes or no. I don't need you to elaborate. Have you ever, now this has been going on for, God, well over a decade. It's probably been happening for, oh, good Lord,
Good morning, Kenobi.
maybe 20 years or so. So Steve Wozniak, who was one of the developers of Apple, he's actually one of the first persons to ever build a computer by scratch on his own. MP60A, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Good morning, kid of mine. So one of the things about this guy is in the 70s he was looking through his change, opened up and found a $2 bill, and he was kind of fascinated by it. He didn't think they did those anymore, so started to do some research, and then you start seeing some stories about him. So has anybody heard that Steve Wozniak used to print his own $2 bills? Has anybody ever heard that story?
Good morning, Eric M.
UFO says no. Well, we're going to talk about that. Siren says yes. Check Stacker says no. So we're going to talk about this today. And I thought this was a really good story. There's a really good story because one, the type of person I am, I like these kind of story-based items. Yeah, so let's not give, if you've seen this, I heard this before, let's not blow it for everybody, okay? Let's not throw that into chat. So what he used to do is he used to take, oh, son of a gun, and I just closed the freaking window.
Straps.
I do that all the time. The person who developed the close next to the make big button needs to be beat. Because I do it all the time. I do it at work right before I'm presenting as well. And I'm not going to show the picture because I just closed it. Now I got to figure out where I put it. So what he used to do is he used to show a sheet. It was a booklet of 4 tall $2 bills. And what he would do is he would take those to people and he would say, hey, now look at these. I print these. I do them myself. I found a printer here in the town that he lives in. And that printer would actually put them into this place, perforate them so that he can tear them off. And he's like, careful, the ink is still wet, so don't touch it. It's still a little bit tacky. But what I'll do is I'll give these away. I'll sell, these for, 4 of them for $5. Telling people it's worth like $50. But yeah, the printer does this for me. I do it myself. He doesn't know if the serial number's valid or not. He doesn't really know if it's even the right president. So he kind of looks at it and he has this little discussion with the people he's interviewing. He's been doing it for a long time, and he talks about the fact that he prints these $2 bills. Now, here are some facts about this. Number one, it's absolutely true that he had a printer put these in the form. Absolutely true. So it's also absolutely true that they are authentic $2 bills. 100% authentic $2 bills. And so when he's saying this, he's not lying. It's actual information. This is actually what he's done. And I'm going to show you UFOs. It is legal. What he does is legal. Hey, AC Coins, good morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you why does it do this? Hold on just a minute. Don't do that. What? Oh, hate it when it does this.
Relax. It's Saturday. We're just hanging. No pressure.
Open file. There we go. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen real quick, and I'm going to show you. I don't know why it does that, though. It's driving me crazy. All right. So this is the picture that I was wanting to show you. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And so you can see that in this particular set, these are not authentic bills. This is a copy. So the one you're looking at here is a copy. This is not authentic. It's actually something that's taken. You can see this because, or actually, I take that back. Yeah, the serial numbers are exactly the same on a couple of these. So, or no, they're not. No, they're not. Never mind. So what they would do is he would take these and he would put like 6 or 7 of these together, and they would be perforated. So he would actually take and get these perforated, so you could actually pull this off right here. You could actually pull one off and then use it as tender. Now, as many people would know, that it's illegal to print your own money. So the question always has been, how in the hell did he get away with doing this? Now, one of the things that was interesting to hear when he would talk about this, and he talked about this story quite frequently, and one of the things that was really interesting about this is when he would go pick up hamburgers, and he would go through the drive-through and he would order all these hamburgers, and then he would pull up to the thing and then he would pull out these sheets that he had created and he would give them, and they're like, no, we can't take those. And he's like, no, they're real. And they're like, yeah, right. We can't take counterfeit money. And so he would get into these arguments with people, and he actually was approached one time when he was in Vegas by a secret security officer who opened up a little briefcase and showed him his credentials and actually read him his Miranda rights and arrested him. And after some review and things of that nature, he talks about the fact that he used to show people counterfeit IDs and stuff because he had a special laser printer, and this printer could do all sorts of amazing things. And he would explain very in detail what he would say. So, for instance, he had one that was called, it was a Department of Defense looking identification, but it was called Department of Defiance. Okay. And so it wasn't Department of Defense. And it looked exactly like, when it was very nice, it looked like the little pass IDs, one of those. And he would take that, and then that's what he would use instead of showing people his actual driver's license with his real name. But this one said Department of Defiance instead of Department of Defense, because when you look at it, the way we read, if you read the first and the last letter, your mind makes up what that is in conjunction with the other words that are there. And so he would display this fake ID to a lot of people, and they would never take care of it. The position on this particular identification said something like Laser Systems Inspector or something, because he carried a laser pointer with him everywhere he went. It was not a real title, but he would do this, and people believed him. So he would take these $2 bills that he took to the printer and put together in this package, and he would take them and he would actually, use them, or try to use them. A lot of people denied them. And, again, in many places, we know this because we're talking about CBDCs, we're talking about silver and gold and things of that nature, and people only accepting credit, not accepting cash. The shops have a legal right not to accept cash. I hope you guys know that. They don't have to accept cash for any reason. Even though it's legal tender, they don't have to do it. He validated this by talking to one of the security officers. They called the police. The police were like, hey, you can't. They don't have to accept it. Doesn't matter if it's real or not. They're not going to accept it. Well, of course, they asked him some questions, and he explained what he was doing, and then obviously Secret Service showed up. So how did Steve Wozniak get away with this? How was he able to take these to a printer and get these to put into a
He
package?
made them into like a booklet, right?
A little booklet. Yeah. So how was he able to do that? Well, I'm going to share with you guys this image. Okay, so I'm going to share this image. And when you see this, I want you to kind of understand how this works. Okay, so let's see. I think it's this one. It is this one. All right. This is the United States Mint, right? We see these. This is the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, and they print off sheets. It's something everybody can do. Everybody. Okay, so Collector Invest, I want you to pay attention to that, because there's very specific laws regarding that. We're going to get on that in just a minute. So you can actually purchase sheets of these from the U.S. Mint. Now, they changed the way the sheets used to be designed a few years ago. They have changed in the number of top to bottom, left to right. So there's actually more per sheet now than there used to be. But what he would do is he would take them, he would buy sheets like this. He would take them to the printer. The printer would cut them, and then they would just stack them one over one over one over one. And then he would just cut these in fours and then put them in a booklet. And then what they would do is they would perforate between the bills, and then they would do the glue top across the top. So what's happening here is he would actually take real authentic money, take it to a printer, and then just have him put into his own book. And then he would concoct this story. They were almost always not thought of as being genuine because he utilized a $2 bill. Now, again, we talked about his fascination with the $2 bill. You're right. You can't copy a U.S. design. But here again, this isn't copying it. He's actually
real.
This is real. He's buying real sheets of money, real authentic sheets. When you buy a sheet, you are allowed to cut it. Okay. Now we talk about this, and Paula, you guys have had this stuff on LiveCoin Q&A where people falsely cut these sheets to make them look like errors. There's very specific tells about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly, Chad. They're just basically padding sheets, right? So what he's doing is he's cutting these into very specific groups, and then he would create this concoction because he was the ultimate poser. He was a total troll, and he loved being the wise ass. He loved being a smart aleck. He loved playing jokes on people, and this was a really good way to do that. Now, here's the thing. Nothing against what he was doing was illegal. 100%. Every time the Secret Service finally understood, they checked it, they investigated it, really looked into the process, and every time they're saying this is authentic money. Yep. There is nothing against you putting it into your own book. As long as you don't change or alter it anyway, or make it out to be something more than it is, right? You're not defrauding anybody. It's just a story. It's just a way of jacking with people's minds. Okay, now he was really, really good at doing this. He did it for years. This would have been
a great psychological study.
Oh, yeah, just insane. Now,
really would have, yeah.
The reason that I wanted to talk about this, and folks, if you're liking this so far, please do me a favor, smash the like. Okay, because I really have tried for a little while to kind of think about how to present this story and talk to you guys about some of the stuff that we've talked about recently, about the availability of the mind to utilize something that we all know, but accept somebody of affluence's opinion of it. We're going to get into that a little bit later. So I want you to kind of be thinking about that topic. I know that may not make sense. It will make sense to you in a few minutes. But I want you to think of the genius. Now, a couple people in here are like, oh my God, that's genius, right? That's funny. But I'll tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is 100% illegal to create your own money. Period. End of story. There are laws. If you look at the laws talking about that particular item, people say, well, no, you can create your own coin. The state can produce their own coin in a very specific subset. There's got to be a very specific way in which they do it. But they cannot in any way, shape, or form, you cannot print money. It is illegal. And so anybody who's looking at this or trying to go, oh, well, he did this, don't. Period. End of story. Don't ever try to print or copy your own money and pass it off as being legit. It is a federal crime and you will get busted for it. Do not do this. Okay. Now, what he did was perfectly legal. Now, it's going to land you in hot water. But Paul and I, when we were talking about this morning, talked about affluence. How many people think that if I were to pull this stunt, that I wouldn't get my ass put into hot water? And just because of who he was, the weight, his money, his position of power, that he was able to pull off some of these things because he was okay. Right? Well, yeah, well, Gen X, no, I'm not even going there because again, here's the thing. This is how the law reads. Okay, you guys need to be very understanding of this, and this is where I'm getting into. Understanding the intent of the law, understanding its intent, understanding its purpose. Okay? Okay? Telling somebody you can do it, but if you get caught, you'll get into trouble, is promoting the counterfeiting. You can be held liable for that. Don't even joke. Anything, right? Don't even joke about it. Okay.
Any law.
Right. And so there are some things that actually came from this that actually ended up. He got in hot water, and there's a lot to this. But basically, somebody pulled this on him with cryptocurrency and took a bunch of people. And manipulated him, and he ended up suing, along with YouTube, sued these people. And then people that he caught with this particular joke ended up coming back at him. So again, I want you guys to understand practical jokes have consequences. Now, we're talking about the legality of this. If you tell somebody that it's okay to counterfeit or it's okay to copy a bill, and they do it and they find out that it was you, you can be held liable. Be careful. Do not ever do that. Not even jokingly, because it can land your butt in hot water. There is a law that if you play a practical joke or a prank on somebody and they get physically or financially hurt, you are responsible, or you can be held liable for that. So be aware of that. Okay, so is this funny? Hell yes, this is funny. This is brilliant. I, as a person who has the joking channel, witticism, and likes to do jokes and do this kind of stuff, I think it's brilliant. But there's a very valuable lesson in this, and I want people to understand the level of what he does. Everything he said was carefully constructed to never mislead anybody. He never misled anybody. What he told everybody was always 100% true. There was no manipulation. He never said he printed the money. He said he took the money to a printer. There's a printer in his thing that does these things, right? So there were very specific languages. There were very specific things that were done to make sure that what he was doing, what he was saying, was 100% truth. Okay, so you've got to be very careful. Hey, good morning, Big Flip. What's going on, bud? Now, I find this fascinating because I've worked, my stepdad, when I was a young kid, took me to a printing press. I got to work with high school, got to work with some printing presses in high school, learn how to do this. And I've seen these, the pink glue that they used to put on these where you could pull them off, the little pads, and then they would just paint this pink sticky stuff on there. And
yeah, Romy and Michelle invented that.
Along with that dude with the funny shoes.
They did. Romy and Michelle invented that. They did.
Yeah. That's such an amazing show. I love that show. But so I've seen how this was done. So when I listen to this story, I'm going, okay, what's the gag? Right? There's got to be something in this. He knows counterfeiting is illegal. He's never going to publicly do this. And he would do podcasts, and he would do shows, and he would do talk shows. And Jackass, the thing, Steve-O interviewed him, right? Mm-hmm. He walked through this stuff, and he's like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, that's illegal. How did the feds not bust you? And these are guys that are practical jokers. So, like, he was a total king of the practical joke. He was very good at it. And being a teacher, he was really good, and he would do these little practical jokes on his students to get people to understand. Like when he worked with Mac or Apple, he would tell everybody, okay, the first person done finishing this test gets a free Mac. And, of course, they would go through and they would get this stuff done, and they would go into the other room, but it wouldn't be a computer. It would be a Big Mac. Right? So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, he would do this kind of stuff. And what what he was teaching them is it's important to think critically. Ask those questions. Okay, you say free Mac. Are you talking Macintosh computer? Or are you talking about like, a Mac truck? Or are you talking about a Big Mac? What kind of Mac are we getting here? And it forced the people that he worked with, and it forced the students that were under him to actually use those critical thinking skills and to take time to actually look at what was going on in that particular entity. Again, taking these little, oops, let me get back over here. I'm going to replace that screen because I want to go back to this one. Taking these particular elements, right, and putting them into little sticky pads and passing them off as something that he put together himself. It's 100% legal. He did it himself. He didn't print the money. It's actual authentic money that was bought from the U.S. Mint. I think as far as a gag goes, it was genius. It was brilliant. But there are lessons to this that you guys need to be very clear on. Number one, if you're going to do a practical joke on somebody, make sure you're very careful about the language that's being used. If you're going to be doing it with money, you got to be very, very careful. Because saying the wrong thing that leads somebody to doing something that causes them issues, financial or physical, can land you in extremely hot water. So I want you to be careful, because a lot of people like to tell jokes and do this kind of stuff. I'm a jokester. I love doing that. I love roasting people and playing practical jokes on people within good humor, right? So yeah. I loved this story, but this story also points to something else, and it's something that we've talked about. I trolled you with your last video. Kind of, maybe a little bit. But it's not really trolling. It's to get you interested in a topic, but I deliver on the topic. Okay, it's not clickbait if you deliver. You want a little bit of intrigue when you look at something. It's not necessarily, I'm a smart aleck too. But that is
clickbait,
part of,
by definition, is when you use a title that is intended to the information in the video is intended to mislead. It misleads people. I don't know if it's intended to mislead, but it misleads people.
Yeah. So now there are plays on words, and people do this a lot. Okay, where people go in and they say, "Oh, you should check out this $1 million coin." Now, one of the kings of doing this is Blue Ridge. Okay, Sean is really good about doing this. And what he does is he always wraps that up with why that was done or why that was stated. And he always delivers on his thumbnail. Always deliver on his thumbnail. Sometimes, yes, they're a little bit clickbaity, but he always delivers on that because he wants to draw in the crowd. If your thumbnail and your title intrigue somebody, they're more likely to look at it. Okay, that's something you got to do. If you want people to click on your videos, that's definitely something you want to do. But make sure you're not doing clickbait. If you're going to click on something, deliver. This is such a problem that YouTube's actually changing. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. YouTube's actually changing the algorithm to track for people who are only clickbaity and don't deliver on what they say they're promising. I'm not sure how they're going to do that. They're actually implementing this in India right now to control some of the issues that are there with them showing something and presenting something that doesn't show up. For instance, like the thumbnails that show some beautiful person on it, man or woman, doesn't matter. And then the entire video is about something else, and then they just show a quick little snippet of that at the very end. That's clickbait. And they're going to take those and they're going to start pulling those off. So they're building their algorithm, looking at how to do that. Because again, you're bringing in people on manipulating them, right? And so you're looking at doing that. Southern Coin Hunter said he had someone try to pay for pizza with movie prop money. That is a crime. That is a crime. So again, a lot of people think that's funny and, oh, I'm going to do this. You could have called the feds, and that would have been immediately, that's bad news. So again, be very careful about, hey, thank you so much for that. That $5 super chat, MP68. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
The problem comes when they have to prove that that person knew that that money wasn't genuine.
Well, and you figure this stuff out pretty quick, especially people that investigate this kind of stuff. But yeah, so there's people who we deal with this in YouTube, we deal with this in eBay, where you see these coins and people have legitimately bought what they thought was a real coin. They're selling it because they've upgraded it, only to find that the item that they bought initially was counterfeit. That happens. There are situations in which that happens. What we're referencing is the person who knows, like the Chinese ones that are sold specifically by Chinese actors from China that have, 71 or 250 1921 high relief peace dollars sold for $23. Right? That's pretty freaking, it's pretty straightforward. Right? And we showed examples of that on the channel the other day, where somebody in YouTube had pulled that up. Now, that isn't a practical joke. That is meant to deceive. That is meant to mislead. And again, those are crimes, right? What I want you guys to be aware of is it's important to be aware of what you joke around with people, especially when it comes to money. But I want to get to part 2 about why this was quote unquote okay with Steve Wozniak. And that was because his position of power. Now, Paula, do you think that if you or I were to do that we wouldn't land ourselves in hot water, or that anybody would believe us?
Well, yeah, first of all, I don't think anyone would believe us. We talked about that before. And I'm not sure. So in today's day and age, can you imagine how much more this would have blown up in today's, with all the clickbait and crap like that, how people would have, it would have just been all over YouTube. People would have been making videos. This guy prints his own money and blah, 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 I don't know, proving intent is the hard part in all this. They would have to prove, I'm not sure how big a trouble we would get in, because they would have to prove that we intended to defraud people. If we worded it like he worded it, he was very smart, like you said. He was very smart in his wording. None of his wording was incorrect.
No, everything was on point, and I went through 30 or 40 different.
Very careful how we worded it.
Yeah, I went through 30 or 40 different interviews. I read his blogs. He had the exact same story every time. He didn't deviate a word. It was exactly the same every single time. And his words were very, very, very carefully chosen. That's why it took me such a long time to put this together, because I really wanted to understand what he was looking at, really see if this was just a thing that he did once or twice and it took off. No, he did this quite a lot. This was one of his favorite troll moves, right? But why am I talking about this in the form of trolls? Because in our society, in our community, and I'm talking about community large, not community small, clout matters. Paula has talked about this a lot. Clout matters. And so what I want to do is I want to give you all a tool, something some of you may know about, some of you something may not, or let me try that again. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but I want to go through this and share this with you. This is a site called, and I'm not a paid member. I don't have a sponsorship with this channel. I'm just showing it because I really like what's here. I like the information. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit, and I'm going to remove that. No, I want to remove that. Oh, bye-bye. Close. Thank you. All right. So we're going to zoom in. This is called Social Blade, and Social Blade allows you to look at the I hate every time you change the screen. Alfalfa. Once, twice, 3 times a Mayday. You remember that one?
Yeah, that was
Eddie Murphy.
yeah.
Yeah, that's freaking hilarious.
But that wasn't alfalfa. That was
No, that was buckwheat.
yeah,
That was buckwheat. All part of the Little Rascals. So I want you guys to write.
I'm in the mood for love.
Oh yes, okay, too much
anyway,
fun.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So Social Blade, I want you guys to write this down. I want you to go look at it, and I want you guys to start doing some critical adjustments and critical views of some of the channels that you watch. I want you to take time to really look at what's going on. Okay, so Eric Math says, great site. I'm glad you like this. And I'm going to show my channel. And the reason I'm going to show my channel is pure transparency. Okay, I want you to understand what real data looks like. And I'm going to explain. We all know what happened in April of this year with my Frostbite coins being picked up in a Indian ad, India being India, ad with Frostbite cryptocurrency. It picked up. I've got like 2,000 subscribers in the period of about a week, 1,800 subscribers. You'll see that it's explained. We talked about it a number of times on the channel, pure transparency, explaining what's happened. But on this particular site, you'll be able to see a lot of information. So,
sure, Eric, go ahead.
What was that?
Eric M said,
do you want yeah, Eric, please. Yeah, feel free. Thank you for doing that.
It's a great tool.
And if you want to, yeah, so please do that. I appreciate you, Eric. This site, again, what this allows you to do, and you'll see that right here, you'll see that big old jump, 1,900 subscribers. This was because there was a marketing. I was talking to somebody regarding cryptocurrency, changing my site, trying to get into other markets. And they pushed something that was picked up by an Indian company that was doing marketing for this particular cryptocurrency release. And my channel got picked up. And one of my links got put into one of their adverts, and it blew up. It had nothing to do with my channel. It was great publicity. I got free publicity out of it. But there's a ton of subscribers. It did zero for my channel. No additional views. Didn't increase my view time, didn't increase my watch time. Now, there are some people that actually continue to watch the channel. There were some English-speaking people that said, hey, I'm from here, saw your channel, I don't know where it came from. It would be great if you could translate some of your stuff. So in some of the transcripts, you'll see that I try to have YouTube present that in Hindi and a couple other languages because of this. So there were actually good things that come of it. But I can explain exactly what happened there. But when you see this, you'll see ranging from 20 to 70, and every once in a while you get a big peak here where I had the big video that I did regarding Texas and the legislation. Had 13 or 14,000 views in a week. Got 110 subscribers from that particular video. So you'll see these little bumps. You'll see the views again. This big peak here. You'll see these little peaks happen, 19,000, 20,000 views. So you'll see really good week. And as you scroll down, you'll see live streams, again, looking at today's live, like I'm going live right now. It's showing you how many people, what my subscriber count is, total numbers of views. You'll see that view increases as this cycles. So you have a lot of great information. But what I want you guys to do is I want you to scroll down a little bit farther and start looking at this. This is where the money meets the road, and this is where you can start to understand some data. So there's 4 points in this that I want you guys to really start to look at. I really want you to dig in and start looking at the channels that you watch, because you're going to learn a lot about what you see from this. Now, again, in full transparency, I'm putting myself out here. It's here. I've got nothing to hide.
You can put LivePoint Q&A on there too.
We'll do. Well, if you're okay, we'll do that. No problem.
Yeah.
You'll see that I've increased subscribers. Some of this is because of shorts views. Now, in the last month, you'll see that my subscriber counts have continued to grow a little bit, and then they drop off. That's going to happen. I had a couple good videos, a couple good shorts take off. And so you'll see the subscribers counts go up. But across the board, you're going to see pretty much the same general, anywhere between 20 and 100 subscribers per week or per month or however it's broken out here, okay? This is actually done by month. So you'll see my subscriber counts are really snafu happened. You'll see the India one when you look up above, it was 1900. So I had 200 authentic subs in this time frame and then the 1900 from the snafu. I can explain it. We could talk about exactly what happened there, but you guys know. So when you look at other sites, you're going to see patterns. You're going to see things that start to show up, like 0 subscribers and then all of a sudden they have 1,000. 0 subscribers, all of a sudden they have 1,000. 0 subscribers and all of a sudden they have 5,000. Or you'll see their watch time. So here, let's go back up and let's look at a couple other fields that are really important. Okay, I want you to look at subscribers for the last 30 days. Why is this important? Well, it's important because of two things. Number one, as you're looking at this information, it's going to tell you pretty much what the standard subscriber count, subscriber rate is going to be for any given channel. You can look at this. And I also want you to look at their views. Okay, so you can see that per month in the last 30 days, my channel's gotten 23,000 views. Okay, that's cool. Not a big channel. That's pretty on par with what I see cross between both my long and short form, including some of the sites or some of the short content that's doing really well. Some of the bigger videos that I have, they're small numbers, 2, 3, 500. So that number, including my shorts over a month, yeah, that's probably accurate, especially because I do have some videos that are really doing well, 12, 13, 14, 15,000 views. So yeah, I've got some stuff there, but my subscribers in relation to, and you'll see my subscriber count is here, right? Subscribers, 5.16 thousand, 1,200 uploads, almost 700,000 views. So you look at this, and some of these numbers they make sense. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Gen X. Looking for channels that have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 subscribers, and they're getting 50 views per channel. Okay. Now, when you look at some of mine, there are some of my channels that, or some of my videos that just don't take off. They don't pick up. I'll give you a great example. My commemorative coin series, there's not a ton of people watching that. If I look at the analytics for my commemorative coin series, 85% of the people who are watching it are return subscribers. They're not new. It's not really appealing to the general public because it's more of a niche item. I'm very aware that's going to happen. This is why I'm putting out other content at least once a week on a full item, so that people can see this, so people can look at this, right? So when you look at the numbers, a C+ grading average, not a big deal, right? It makes sense. The numbers are there. There's nothing crazy. It's not jumping out. I may need to do something provocative to build my channel. Well, again, I want authentic subscribers. I want people who are going to watch my channel. If they're going to watch it for the short content, then that's great. If they're going to watch it for long form content, that's great. Long form content is where you get paid. You have to have millions of views on your short content to get any money. And I can show you some of that. I don't mind showing you some of the analytics on my channel. Because again, I don't have nothing to hide. It's full transparency for me. But again, it's really important. But down here really tells you a massive story. Now, you said pull up Livecoin Q&A, so let's go ahead and
yeah, I mean, our thing, subscriber count and everything's going to be pretty crappy because we haven't been putting out regular content for a while, but it just as a comparison, and just how like generic growth is supposed to look.
Okay, so when you're looking at this again, you're looking at a standard subscriber count, 10, 20, 30 per week. Not a big deal. They're putting out more content. You can see when they do special events, they had more stuff. This is probably some big release they did, maybe a coin show or something that happened where they did a talk, right? So
or the Jack Young interview or something.
Yeah, well, that's right here, right? Yeah. So you'll see little spikes, and again, you look at certain things. This is probably phase 2 of the Jack Young interview. right? Where you have two groups coming in. And so again, you can look at it, you can see your total views, you can see stuff. But when you come down here, you're going to see little ebbs and flows. You're going to see bumps and grinds. And again, they stopped putting out a lot of content because of they were changing some stuff. So you're going to see gradual decreases over the last year. The amount of videos that they put out decreased. So you're going to see a decrease there. And again, you're going to see bumps and spikes here. This is the month of January. Again, Jack Young videos coming out. A lot of people interested. You got some subscribers coming from there. You got an increase in Amanda putting out videos and shorts, right? Increases in subscriber count. Another great one to look at for this is copper coins. Okay. Same situation here, right? You see a big uptick in the number of subscribers, and that's because they've been putting out content. Great content. You see these views are really shooting up, and you're seeing the subscriber count is showing up, right? So as you look at this information, hey, Mike, what's going on? Thanks for coming in. Hope you're doing well.
Good morning.
So that Coin Show podcast, make sure you guys go check them out. Okay, that's another great channel. We can pull them up and show you again. Good, solid content, right? So when you look at what is the channel doing, what content are they putting out, how are they looking at it? So this gives you the opportunity to look at the people that you're watching and kind of get a feel for, are they being genuine? Are they being real? Right? It gives you a really good picture. Now, I'm not going to pull up, there's a number of sites that we've looked at, and I'm not going to be pulling them up. My intent is not call anybody out. The intent of this is to give you guys tools to allow you to make up your own minds, right? To look at the information and go, oh, this is a bunch of horse crap. Oh, this is not authentic. Oh, look at this. And Paula was talking about buying subs. I don't understand the concept of doing that.
Yeah, there is a very good motivation for
I doubt Mike would mind this, but I'm going to ask for permission. I'm not going to do this live. Coin gave me permission. Mike, would you care if I pulled up Coin Show podcast and display that to show you?
I'm going to take a screenshot of something though, and I'm going to take all the name out and everything.
Please do. Okay, perfect.
People what a suspicious analytic would look like.
The Coin Show podcast. Here we go. Okay, again, we know the kind of work they do. And they suck, by the way. Look, they got a better rating than us, bastards. I got to tell you, though, the Ancient Coin Show, that one with Aaron Burke, I love that. I watched that. There are some ones that you guys just put out talking about the known counterfeits and what families they come from. Those last few shorts have been amazing, by the way. I love those. So you look at it, you kind of see where they're at. Now, I want you to look at this, okay? Massive jumps in views, right? And you look at some of the content that they're putting out, okay? Now, here is where hard work and diligence pay off. I can tell you exactly where these subscribers came from because I watched their channel. This came from the Coin Show and the interviews and the videos that they put out when they interviewed the Mint director.
All the shorts that Matt's making and stuff.
All of that stuff plays into this. So when you're looking at what's going on, you see their videos in retrospect to their views. Now, this is kind of, and I'm going to say this, not to be disrespectful, Mike, this is a travesty, actually, because they only have 46,000 views, but they've gotten 1,600 subscribers. Okay? Their views should be way higher. Some of those videos, some of that content is phenomenal. Okay? Paula's pulling this up. So, yeah, okay, this is a great example.
This is a subscriber count.
This is a subscriber count.
It's not supposed to look like.
Okay, so I want you to look at this. Now, again, we just shown You look at the numbers up and down, up and down, up and down. It's not making you blush. Okay, Mike, we want people to understand those channels that put out good quality content, that actually have the collector, the stacker, the numismatist in mind, people who actually want to grow our hobby. And again, I don't talk about Aaron Burke enough when it comes to ancients. The dude's genius. He really understands his crap. I mean, I really would like to have him on the channel. Actually, would like to have you guys on the channel as well. But what Paul is showing, Paula, can you zoom that in? Can you zoom that image a little bit? Because what I want you guys to do, what I want you to think critically, right? This is the important piece to this. There you go. Just scroll up. If you're using your touchpad. I
can't scroll up. This is a screenshot. No, this is a screenshot.
Okay.
I wanted to take all the names out and everything. So
yeah, you're good. No worries. Okay, so I want you to move to the right so that you show more of the May timetable, because what I want to look at, there we go. This is a massive tell, folks. Okay, so if you are getting 1,000 subscribers every month and then 0 and then 0 and then 0, and then all of a sudden 1,000 and 1,000 and then 0 and then 1,000 and 1,000 and then 0 and 1,000 and then 0 and then 0 and then 0. If you have hundreds of thousands of views, or you have tens of thousands of views, and you're not getting a single subscriber from your content, you're buying them.
Something's wrong in it.
Yeah, that absolutely, there is something wrong with the data. And so Tennessee rocks. Yeah, it looks like my bike, my Garmin data when I did the Texas Tough. That's how my hills looked, up and down and up and down and up and down when we were going through hill country. That's exactly how my bike data looked.
Contractions look like when you're giving birth.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. Well, and this is probably, looking at this, is just as painful. But again, folks, what I want you to do, I want a Social Blade, okay? I want you to make sure you're looking at this because it really tells you more about what it is. It tells you about the channel. It gives you insights as to what's happening. It gives you insights to the channels that may be doing some little kind of shenanigans around the side to artificially boost what might be called their amount of knowledge. So there's talk, and I hope YouTube does this. They've actually said no. There was just an interview done. Look, like corking your bat that's a great example.
Yeah, sure.
Make you look like you're a phenomenal hitter and you're not. You're just getting more reaction based off of something that you've manipulated the system into somebody thinking that you're doing something great. The premise behind all of this.
And it works. That's the problem.
And it works. Now, here's the problem, okay?
Yep.
We see this when we look at certain channels and we look at people that are buying, when we look at certain things. Yeah, it's just one of those things that, folks, I want you to be informed, okay? Is that AI generated? That is not AI generated. So the way YouTube has a very specific algorithm that talks about subscriber counts, and there is data. And so you have what's called memorandums of understandings or memorandums of agreements. And those are things that companies work together with various agencies where they go through and they say, we want to pull this particular data in a very specific subset. They pay for that data. And again, you can only share it in certain manners. They can only display it in certain ways. That's where the memorandum of agreement is contractual based. And companies buy this in very specific form and display it. This is exactly what Social Blade has done. They've reached out to these various entities. They grab that information. They pay for that information. And they utilize that to pull information and show people kind of what their rankings are and what's happening with that channel. They give predictions. Let me pull this back up because there's another piece of this I want to show you. Oops, wrong button again. Dagnabbit, I do this a lot.
Oops, wrong button.
Social Blade. Okay, so let's pull this back up. Now there's something else that you can do here, and this is really cool. So Mike, if you're watching, if you've never utilized this before, this is something that's really cool. It's a feature that people like myself or Paula or Mike, the content developers that are looking to see how you're growing, some of what your projected rates are, and if you don't like it, then you can, take corrective action and do some things to the channel to help grow it. But right here, there are some featured boxes. There's some future projections. There's user videos, and you can see very specific things. Now, in this case, it's going to show you what their subs predictions are in 2 months, 4 months. They give you a year out, 2 years out, 3 years out, and they show you if they continue on their projected course. It gives you an idea of where they're going to be. And so if you don't like where your potential growth is, so I'm going to go back to my channel real quick.
Can I just answer Azure Blue's question real quick?
Absolutely.
So Azure Blue, this is just my opinion. The return on investment for that is that it gives the channel more street cred. So people see a larger subscriber count. It validates that channel and makes people more apt to subscribe to that channel and believe whatever they're saying. So it makes them, it gives them more street cred. So they're able to get more of their garbage out to more people. If you have a good channel, and so I guess it all depends on what your motivation for your channel is, right? If you want real loyal subscribers and people that actually want to come and engage with you in your channel and learn, if you're an educational channel, if they want to be there to learn, then you're not so worried about subscriber count and stuff like that. But if you just want people, so let's say you have a channel that does mostly auctions. You want more people in there to watch your auctions. So what happens is people see this large subscriber count. I don't know if that makes YouTube push the channel out more or not. But if you type in coins, I think that those higher sub count channels pop up first in your search.
Now, I'm going to show something, and I'm going to talk about something that was just released. I'm going to get into that here in just a few minutes. Because and again, I took a long time to kind of look through some of this stuff. The Social Blade, Paul and I have been talking about this for, a month. Yeah. About some specific channels and looking at some of this stuff. The research that I did on Wozniak, tying this all together, but I was waiting for YouTube. YouTube had talked about releasing some information regarding the algorithm. I know when you say algorithm, people want to vomit in their mouth. A lot of people can't stand the algorithm and the data. But data tells you a lot of information, right? I'm an analyst, so there's a lot that it can tell me. What I've got highlighted here is my goal for the end of 2025 is to reach 10,000 subscribers. That's my goal for 2025. And at the pace that I'm going right now, I will not hit it. In fact, at my current pace, if my subscriber count stays as it is, I will end up at 8,000 subs by the end of the year. Now, this is projected. There could be increases and decreases. So what this helps me do is go, okay, what do I need to do to help me increase it? So this is a tool that gives me kind of a baseline, a kind of understanding that if things are standard, if things go the way that I'm doing it right now, then I will know approximately, give or take a little bit, about where I could be. Now, this is organic growth, right? I'm not buying anything. If you're going to do something like do some advertisements for products or stuff like that, far be it for me to tell you not to. And there are things, there are tools, there are things that you can do to gain information and insight on boosting your channel. You can pay people who understand advertising and marketing, or you can pay people who understand video development. You can increase in your quality improve your audio. You can do things, and you see that I'm always changing my views to try to find what people like. And sometimes people like it, sometimes people don't, and it's trial and error. But what this allows me to do with my data, what this allows me to look at is how do I improve my number? Because I want my numbers to go up. So in 3 months, I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to make a goal. I'm going to come back in 3 months and say, how close was this prediction? What did I implement? Did my projection increase because of the things that I've implemented? And then if they do, I can continue working those. I can look at my subscriber counts. I can look at my view counts, and I can see where we're at in relation to that. If I'm falling way short of my projection, then something's going on. I'm not doing what I need to be doing. I'm not engaging. There's something going on. Now I see some of this because of my last 2 months of doing this particular coin series that I'm doing. I know there's not going to be tons and tons and tons of interest in this particular video series. I know that. I want to do it because it's what I call evergreen content. It's going to be there. That'll always be there. Anytime somebody wants to look at that particular data, they can go and they can find that video and they can look at it whenever. It's always valid. It's not time sensitive. They can always go back and it's always there. There's always videos talking about some of the history of every one of those coins. It's something that people have asked me to do. Paula even mentioned it like 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago. If you're going to do something like that, you could do the entire series. And I decided to do that. Gotcha. And so you can, what I want to get to is you can utilize this data, but you can also look and see where your channels are at. If you want to look and understand what's going on. And folks, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed and you like this content, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. It's free to you, but it really does help my channel. Also, smash that like. Likes help. But again, I want you guys to be informed. I want you guys to have information that you can use, right? And I want you to be informed. So we talked about this just a moment ago. So I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to pull up just whatever comes up. And I want somebody in chat. Hey, Shift, what's going on? I want somebody in chat to enter something coin related. Doesn't matter what it is. I want you guys to give me a coin, a very specific coin that you guys like. And I'm going to pull that search up here in YouTube. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Quarters. Okay, perfect. Any quarter in particular, Mike? Primes. That was a good one too, UFOs. Flowing hair gold coin. I do not want to pull that up. I'm sure. Woman's quarters. Okay. Whoops, if I could spell woman's quarters. All right, so let's get in here and see what's going on. All right, so we look at the subscriber count. Again, we have Coin Collector. We have Sent to George. We have a couple of these other ones, small channels, big channel, right? Huge channel. So as I'm scrolling through this and I'm looking at it, if I'm going through here, am I likely to click on one of these that's smaller, or am I more likely to click on one of the bigger channels? Am I going to click on the 4,000 one, or am I going to click on one that is 800,000? So when you look through some of these, what are you looking at, right? 5.2 million subscriber. Ooh, what is this? Oh, this is Good Morning America. I probably want to find out what they have to say about this, right? So even though you may not look at this, for people who are looking and they see a large subscriber count, it's very likely that they're going to be clicking on the ones that have the larger subscriber counts, right? Oh, don't wait, 220 or 22,000. I'm going to go look at that one. 16,000 Silver Wolverines. I'm going to go look at that one, right? So having more carries a little bit more weight. Now, again, many of these channels have worked their tails off to get some of those numbers, but how do you separate the wheat from the chaff? How do you do that? How do you really identify who's got those legitimately and who's just pumping that number? And that's where the social blade comes into play. That's where it's really that's where it really helps. Okay. Here's if I just do let's do this one because this is something that it's insane. Now, when I come and look at this and I look at some of these coins and I see these big ones, this is a big one, right? The 1982. Now, I come through here and I'm looking at some of these and I'm looking at 126,000 subscribers, right? 39,000 subscribers. You can tell this one is AI generated. This is not a real coin. And here you have copper coins. If I'm looking at this, I'm going to take which one? Now, obviously, we know who copper coins are, but if I don't know who copper coins are and I look, it's worth a small fortune or the truth, well, this is going to be an explanation. I just want to know where the money is, right? It's going to be more likely that you're going to click on the one that is shift kicker. You scared me. All I seen is 6 inches hard.
Oh God.
I was like, we got to remove that comment. I can't believe I didn't have my filter on and I said that out loud. I'm so sorry, folks. That was totally uncalled for. That's when you need a filter.
And that did not come out of my mouth. That came out of your mouth.
So again, when you're looking at some of these, it's really important to look at, right? Because when you look at these, again, American coins, I know this is an AI generated channel. Okay, this is the same group of people that does that Coins of Rosie and that does American Numismatic, whatever. I can't remember the name of the channel. I'll find it, show you. But the number of subscribers for people who don't understand what they're looking at, absolutely, 100% unequivocally, will look at this information and go, I'm going to look at the one that has the most subscribers. Yeah, exactly, for immature audiences only. But again, Mike, here's the question. Why do we do what we do? Do we do it for the seasoned collector or we do it for the person who's coming into the hobby? Right? So how do we get the information out there? Well, we got to share. Well, you're right. But who needs the information more? Yeah. Right? And we want people who are coming into the hobby to have good, solid information because I'll tell you, and we've seen this. I'm going to stop sharing this. And again, folks, when I called out those channels that were on here, I called out Silver Wolverines. It doesn't mean that Silver Wolverines is doing anything wrong. When I pulled up Copper Coins, I'm not saying they do anything wrong. You see Couch Collectibles, we've talked about that. You know where I stand with that particular channel. It is what it is, right? But when we're looking at this particular set of information, when we're looking at these items, it's important to use these tools that we have in our availability, or these things that are here, because in doing so, it allows us to understand who's playing the system for clicks versus who's really trying to give good, solid information, right? Who's working on the channel? Because I can tell you right now, if I go click, and I'm going to go click on one of these, I'm obviously not going to play the audio.
Hello and good day to you all. It's me.
First, you can hear it's
no date, no mint mark. That's your first clue that this video is going to be garbage. When they say no mint mark.
Okay. Yeah, that just means there should be Philadelphia mint, right?
There is absolutely zero reason to even put that in the title. Zero.
Now there are coins where there should be no mint mark, right?
Those are special cases.
Special cases. 1970 proof.
Every single Lincoln, Philadelphia never put a mint mark until 2017 on the Lincoln cent. It's the only date that has it. So there's no reason to put, and other mints minted during certain years that don't, Lincoln cents that don't have mint marks too. But
Mad T coins. That's a great idea. Yeah, so I'm not going to play any more of this for
and full bell line for
exactly too. Proof coins. That's an amazing. People get that crap wrong all the time.
Full split bands on.
But again, in looking at this now, is it the 82 no mint mark business?
82 dime.
Yep. Business strike. It's the only business strike.
Strike time. It's the only business strike. Other than like there's a quarter. that's mentioned in the cherry picker's guide that's now but don't anyway.
Yeah.
All that is a structured grease. Okay.
When you're talking about Philadelphia, the only one that's there is going to be the 1922. And that's because they didn't mint Philadelphia or San Francisco. It was only Denver.
Phil, yeah, the 22 no
Okay.
D.
So again, when you're looking at those particular items, there are very specific ones. But you take these channels and they're talking about no mint mark, no mint mark, no mint mark, and they push it out there, and you look, well, yeah, the mint sets. But
Wait, what?
also the 2005 to 2010 mint set coins.
For what?
I'm not sure which one he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one you're referring to either, Mike.
I was going to start challenging other YouTubers to box me, and then I'd have the disclaimer. The attorney said no.
The finish. The satin finish.
Yeah, I got you. But again, there's going to be nuances. There's going to be differences. The problem is misinformation is what kills people in this hobby. Because what they do is they get in here, they think they've got something, they go in, they argue with the coin shop, they go do something, they take it around, somebody tells them you've got something major, they spend all this money, they get a subscription, they go to PCGS or NGC or something, they send this coin in and they get it back in a body bag, and now they hate the world. They don't ever want to deal with it anymore. You guys are all idiots, you all lie to me. And they lump us all into a single group of people. And so the reason that I do this, now just because somebody is telling you good information, if they're going to buy subscribers, but it's all in an attempt to seem more legitimate than they are. And if you have to fake your legitimacy, there should be a flag there. Okay? And so there are a bunch of different reasons. And again, we see this all the time. Livecoin Q&A, I'm sure, Mike, you guys see this at your shops. With people coming in and they argue. They come in to ask you about the coin and then they argue because I heard about it on YouTube that, this coin is worth millions. Or I have this 1970 no-date penny. Yeah. Right? Or this, look at this coin. It's counter-stamped with the 5. It's worth $200,000. Right?
What was that? The Richmond dime.
Yeah, or and so, or people who don't understand what a brockage is, or people who don't understand the difference between something like that and a vice coin, right? Again, there are so many of those things that there's fake information out there that we need to understand the legitimacy of it. And folks, you have that in your power. Looking at the detail, looking at the subscribers, looking at the information, that gives you insight. Now, it doesn't give you a definitive. You have to watch these videos and use critical thinking. This is why I went all the way back to Steve Wozniak at the very beginning. Because the entire intent of what he did as a troll, playing on people, the foolish-minded, the ones who never asked the in-depth questions, the one that didn't use their critical thinking, and they just rambled about whatever it was, they're the ones that he always deceived. And his entire intent was to get people to think critically. That's why he did this with his as a teacher.
Sorry. I don't think that was called brockage, but it was something like that. Yeah, the monkey with the dance. Would you like to dance with my monkey? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's not what we mean by brockage. Paul, if you want to pull up a picture of a brockage, you can do so.
Sprockets, yeah, sprockets. Would you like to dance with my monkey now?
And it's not something.
Now we dance.
And it's not something you get in China if you eat too much rice.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't say that out loud, did I? I'm going to get in trouble. But again, it's one of those things where I want you guys to have the tools and the resources available to make wise decisions. So I started off with Steve Wozniak and talking about the ultimate troll, the ultimate jokester when it came to money. We talked about the legitimacy of legal argument and the discussion. He was very clear about the language and the wording he used to keep himself out of hot water. Then I talked about don't counterfeit, don't say you're doing it. It's not a joke, folks. Okay, do not do that. You do not want to be visited. It reminds me of when I was listening to the news, listening to the radio when I lived in Utah, and they copied a dollar bill on a photocopying machine and put it in the vending machine. And hours later, the Secret Service showed up. They confiscated the vending machine. They confiscated the printer. They fined them a ton of money. Explained it was legal. They had to do a public display of apology. I mean, it was horrible. Don't do it. Okay, not even in jest. Don't do it. Don't pass off phony money as real. Don't do it. Right? It's a crime. But then we wanted to wrap up by talking about the legitimacy. So this was today's conversation. I'm going to go ahead and open up to just general chit chat and talk. But I hope this was beneficial for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I wanted to take a few minutes and really give you some meat in a discussion. Our conversations go wherever.
Oh my gosh, that was hysterical, though. Thank you for that, because that completely made my day. And now we dance. Sprockets.
Yeah, the brackets.
The brackets. The brackets.
But again, yeah. So
by the way, you asked me to. So.
And by the way, Pedro, I didn't say hi. So for everybody I didn't say hi to, again, you have to understand when I'm doing this, it's a full-on production. I've got 3 screens. I've got like 10 windows open up. I'm looking through different stuff. So I apologize if I'm not calling you out. I apologize if I offended the one person who unsubscribed from my channel when I told people that I read the language wrong. I probably should have put the filter on and not read that out loud. I was sorely confused.
That was me. Sorry.
Yeah, I offended Paula. That's terrible.
Picture, by the way, you can share that any day now.
Say that again?
You asked me to pull up a Brockage picture. I did that.
Sorry. I didn't hear the dink.
That is a full mirror Brockage.
That's a beauty.
That is a beaut, Clark. That is a full
now, so
Brockage.
let's talk really quickly about what makes this good and what makes this not a vice coin.
What makes this good and what makes this not a vice coin? Okay, so a full mirror Brockage is basically a coin that is struck and then for whatever reason does not get ejected from the striking chamber and it basically becomes one of the dies for one side of the coin. So you get an incused backwards mirror image of the coin. A vice coin is also a backwards mirror image of a coin because somebody takes a coin and pushes it or hammers it or squeezes it into another coin. 99.9% of the time, it's done over the top of an already struck coin. So that's one way that you can tell. Yeah, I mean, you usually won't be the full image of the coin. It'll usually just be part of the image of a coin, and you'll also get part of the rim that will be like sunk into the coin. So, and then the obverse, the other side. I was just about to say, yeah,
that's where the tail comes in.
Yeah, the other side will be damaged in one way or another. It'll be flattened or something. You notice that the obverse of this coin has no damage. It's pristine. And it's also very well struck because you have you have a struck coin now and a planchet in the striking chamber on top of each other. So the other side is going to be very well struck.
Absolutely fabulous specimen. Yeah, absolutely fabulous specimen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and oftentimes these errors that struck coin that has now stayed into the striking chamber will stick to the die and it will become a die cap. So what you'll get with this type of thing is you'll get a counter brockage. So if this brockage now sticks to the die and starts striking more planchets as they are fed into, then you're going to get counter brockages that may or may not become struck through cap die errors. So there's a lot that goes into these.
All right, so I just gifted
fun.
10 memberships, 5 on each version of the channel. So Mike Carney, Swamp Dog, Kellen L., Robert Caldwell, and Richard Metcalf. Yankee Doodle Sacker, Begotten Solitude. Jack Gallman, hey, good job, bud. Pat Baxter and Chad Wolfenhofen and Horsenborf.
I love that. Nerfern.
Congratulations. Yeah, thanks, Chad. Yeah, I thank you for being here and for hanging out with us today. But yeah, this is an absolutely fabulous specimen of a coin. I really like that. I wish I could see the reverse of that, though. I would love to be able to see the reverse of that coin.
Well, you are seeing the reverse of it. The reverse is the brockage, is the mirror brockage. This is both sides of the coin shown, just in split.
Oh, just side by side.
Right.
Okay, got you.
Side
Okay.
by side. Yeah. So your normal obverse, and then the reverse, you have the brockage.
They just flipped it side by side and took a side by side picture.
Yeah.
I hate these. I always get confused by those.
Yeah. So
helps to know what you're looking at.
Both sides of the same coin. Thank you. You probably are not the only one. Other people were probably confused by that too. This is a single coin. This is just showing a side-by-side picture of both sides of the same coin.
Yep, John, been there, done that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, well, and again, it's just one of those things that I always get screwed up by stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed today. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, make sure you smash that like on the way out. If you guys have any suggestions on what you want to talk about, then let us know. Feel free to send me an email. You can always ask questions. Mike, thank you for being here. Always good to have you in chat. Definitely appreciate you.
I do, Azure. I want a die cap, not a struck through die cap coin.
That's what I want. An authentic die cap.
Yeah, a normal or a yeah. Let's just leave it at that. I want an authentic die cap, or I want a AU58 blast white Isabella quarter.
Oh yeah, see, Isabel is a beauty too.
Error coins, it would be a die cap. And
Azure wants you to pull up a die cap.
Okay, preferably not a copper-plated zinc. Preferably not a copper-plated zinc. So any denomination, I don't care the denomination, but preferably not a copper-plated zinc. I don't typically like error coins in those because I'm afraid they won't last.
Well, yeah, you have to worry about how to maintain them so they don't disintegrate on your butt.
Yeah, well, they're gonna anyway. So let me find a legit die cap and not a cupped, because you have to be careful with these. This is a good one. You have to be careful with these because you can see cupped broad strikes, like extremely cupped broad strikes that look the same or very similar to die caps. So,
have a great day, Eric. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. It's not a US one, but
Mike says he's going to keep an eye out for him.
Okay. Yeah, this is a good
that's
one
out of the error coins, that's probably my dream coin as well. I always fascinated by those. And then the other one I would really like to get is I'd like to get a really nice mule. I think a mule would be really cool.
Which one though? Which mule? Like the quarter with the Sacagawea rivers.
So something like that would be cool. Or there's you've got what is the 50-cent piece with the quarter or something like that on it, or the raw. What's the other one? Not like the 59 is not a real one. I don't believe.
No.
What the hell is that one? There's the quarter Sacagawea.
Now you have mules, and then you have mule die clashes. So you have to. Those are two different things.
So this is a cap. This is a freaking amazing thing.
Yeah, this is a die cap.
So the way these form, if you just think of a bottle cap, right, and it gets put over the edge, penny dime. That's another good one. But as this gets struck and it gets hammered and hammered and hammered and hammered, that metal works up around the edge of that die. Mm-hmm. And to find one like this is really, God
almighty. And these can get super thin too, and actually start to break down. And copper-plated zinc planchets are notorious for like breaking down once they get to the very late stage. This
is cool stuff. Like that's one of my dream errors right there. That's a beauty.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Fun stuff. And you guys know what a mule is, right? Looks like a tuna can with a lid.
Yep. Or there's pile-ups too. I like the pile-ups, the bonded coins. Those are amazing too. Those are very, very pricey too. The pile-ups.
Well, you don't see them very often because aren't they normally caught?
They're always caught. Whether they make it out of the mint or not or smuggled out. That's another story. Most of these error coins are not intended to ever leave the mint, but they make it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, I'm proof of you'll make it. I've been there, done that. Like I said, it sucks, but you'll be there. You got a good community behind you. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to wrap stuff up.
Yep.
Again, if you guys have any suggestions about what you would like to hear about tomorrow is just open chit chat. We do whatever we do, go off the cuff, and we might talk about something. We might not. We don't know. But thank you all for being here. I'm sure we'll be out and about. What do you got going on today? Anything fun?
No, it's snowing again. So ew, I won't be doing anything. I'm be waiting by my computer for those pictures that Azure is gonna send me. Just kidding. Anyway.
All right, folks. Well, hey, Paula, thanks so much for hanging out with me again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a great Saturday, you guys. Be safe.
Yep, and if you talk to Eric, please wish him well. Again, he's feeling a little bit under the weather. Hopefully, he'll feel a little bit better tomorrow, and he can come back. But Paula, he says, I'll be right over. But again, y'all take care. I'll be where I'll be blessed. Folks, thanks so much for being here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.